Council meetings are long and boring. Wouldn't it be great if they were short and unboring? This is why I have invented the 5 a minute. Make it 10-minute meeting. All right, Ashland City Council meeting of August 4th. Mayor starts off with says the city manager and the city attorney review is complete. The manager did some generic stuff and other things are underway. And the attorney did good work and supported us and kept us informed. Did any of that say they did a good or bad job? Absolutely not. Public records request on anybody? Just an idea. Proclamation, she says, Hiroshima and Nagasaki Day. This is the 425th year of that the city has done Mayors for Peace things. And August 3rd through the 9th, the city will remember all victims of atomic bombings, and August 6th at 8 a.m. Was a thing at the entrance to Alithia Park. And then the consent agenda, that was all approved. And then right to the public forum, where a bright shirt said, the city cut down my tree and we're not cool about replanting it. And old glasses said, I'm a member of SURJAC and we want our monthly meetings back. And the SURJAC lady said, if we can only meet quarterly, we can't do our work that you claim you say you want. And Ball Clap said, progressive revenue models, blah, 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 creative sources, blah, blah, blah. And then the Hair Clip said, there is abuse in the homeless community and America's future depends on solving this. The Tiny SURJAC lady said, cutting our meetings is hurtful to me personally, because she invented SURJAC. And then Big Red said, the night lawn people with issues, and they shouldn't have to move their tents. And Earring said, wildfires are bad, I think. And then Little Red said, I'm the climate action team, and you support the Climate Superfund. And Blonde said, support the Climate Superfund. Blue Streak said, sign the Superfund letter. Glasses on the Head said, other states are doing this, so we should. And then Scruffy Beard said, sign this. And then Skinny Homeless Advocate said, the heat is dangerous to our Night Lawn residents. And Night Lawn Beard said, the ambulance comes daily and there are altercations due to the heat. And Night Lawn Girl said, the cops took my stuff because I put it in the wrong place. And a Bald Cap Lady said, Night Lawn people are people and the heat is raising people's temperatures. And then the Briscoe school property, city manager Side-Eye Sabrina Cotta said, we did a quick version of this last meeting, and here's a real version of it. 180 square feet of curb in front of the school, Briscoe School, were sold to ODOT for $2,000 or something. So I voted yes on that. And then a property sale, right on the heels of that property sale. Scott Flurry of the Public Works said, hey, there's a third of an acre at the end of North Mountain, right next to the freeway, and there's no utilities, but it could be a 4-unit housing thing, I guess. And so everyone said, sell it, all approved. And then there's a second reading of an ordinance that was letting tenants buy mobile home parks that they live in. And planning guy Brandon Goldman says, we made 10 changes to this, and so I'm reading them all again into the public record, and then that was all approved. And then public meeting videoing policy. Side-Eye Sabrina Cotta, a city manager, says, Councilor Dale presented this. That's this guy right here. He says, presented this and helped tweak language to require videoing of public meetings. And then this one says, this seems like to disallow subgroups in committees. And Sabrina Cotta, Side-Eye city manager, says, subgroups are not allowed. And then this one says, she goes, oh, no, what about maybe subcommittees could do, I don't know, something on a machine, or city staff must be at every meeting. And this one says, why can't we have working groups without recordings? And Johan Piatella, city attorney, he says, public meeting law says working groups need recordings or they can all be fined. And this one says, I don't agree with that. That doesn't seem right. And this guy says, is city staff now telling us no working groups? And Side-Eye Sabrina Cotta, city manager, goes, we're pausing all committees until we can figure out what to do. And then this guy here goes, hey, this seems crazy because during COVID, we just did everything on Zoom. How hard would that be to do? And this guy goes, hey, I wrote this whole video thing. And it had nothing to do with working groups, just recording official subcommittees. And this one goes, when is this pausing committees thing going to be over? And side-eye Sabrina Cotta, our city manager, goes, she goes, well, now that I know council doesn't care about staff and meetings are more important than my staff, we'll all get back to you then. And then there was a public forum moment, and Hat Lady said strategic plan or something. And then this guy goes, hey, so I moved to approve the videotape ordinance with some language changes about subcommittees, this and that. And then this guy goes, he goes, hey, you know, I like those changes, and they're all pretty good. But mostly, the important thing is this lets us keep all of our meeting recordings instead of letting RVTV delete them after 1 year, which is what they have been doing apparently. And so then video and ordinance was all approved. And then putting the ordinance allowing citizens to vote on new fees on the ballot. And city manager side-eye Sabrina Cotta, she goes, my city staff and I don't recommend putting this ordinance on the ballot so that people can vote on it. We're not a fan of voting. If people vote yes, then they can vote against me raising fees whenever you guys, we want to. What if we completely need emergency fees? And then this guy goes, aren't you planning and budgeting for things like that? And she goes, oh yeah, we are, but and he goes, so don't you have a contingency fund for things like that? And she goes, oh, yes, but and then there was public forum, and Mustachioed Man showed up and said, look, I've been championing this thing, and I like the minimal language changes that we did from the last meeting, and remember, this is just about putting this on the ballot for people to vote on, and citizens to deserve a voice. And this Rhodes Scholar right here goes, I move we don't put it on the ballot. That's my move. And no one seconded that, so another fail for him. And then this guy goes, I move we do put this on the ballot, even though I'm not a fan of it. I'm gonna vote against it. And this one says, okay, well, I will be voting on the whole thing. I'm going to be voting for all of it. And then this guy goes, raising fees is sometimes the least worst option. Mustachioed Man didn't get enough signatures. This puts voters in a confusing position. I said yes last meeting, and now I'm saying no. And vote for me. I am a politician. And then this one says, every time we raised fees, we did the best job we could. So I don't think that will ever go poorly again. So then this guy goes, I understand everything, and if we don't put this on the ballot, it might come back bigger and badder next time. So approved 4-2. These two say, hey, you voters don't know what you're doing. You're not allowed to have this on the ballot because you're too dumb, voters. And but it's approved, minus those two. And then city manager's report. Side-eye Sabrina Cotta, she goes, ambulance saying general fund, parks fee ends next meeting. Spoiler alert. Reserve fund, strategic plan, mumble, facilities, mumble, hiring, compliance, city hall, Hunter Park, ice rink. It was a worthless listing of things that have happened or will happen. And then this guy goes, hey, by the way, that reflective glass coating you put on the community center windows, that's got to come off, right? So where's that money coming from? And Sabrina Cotta, city manager, goes, the facilities fund. And we had no idea that we had to follow rules about stuff like that. And he goes, totally. Completely not on purpose by you guys, I'm sure. And all you had to do was ask somebody at ComDev, that's the building right next door to you. But I'm sure as city manager, you had no idea about rules or anything. And she's like, that's exactly true. That's totally it. And then herbicide policy. Side-eye Sabrina Cotta, city manager, goes, here's the parks pest management policy, which includes herbicides. They say pests a lot, but it's herbicides is what the big deal is. And we have 6 changes to make this city similar policy for the city pest management ordinance. And this guy goes, so if the park changes their policy, it changes the city policy? And then everyone went, no. And he went, oh, okay, I guess, sorry, I'm wrong again, I guess. We'll figure. And then this guy goes, we're talking about adopting the park's herbicide policy, and there are 0 public speakers. He goes, that means no one knows about this discussion right now. We should publicize this, or they're all going to complain about transparency and stuff. You're right? And then blah, 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 talk. And then council all went back and said, hey, we direct staff to come back with this pest policy with the 6 changes and integrating it in and come back with a citywide pest management plan, which includes herbicides. And so there's no need to vote because it was just sent off for the city staff to rework. And that was the end of the meeting. You're welcome.